Hello and welcome to another video. So in today's video, we're going to talk a little bit about working for other people, working for massage establishments, other people, but it's going to be geared towards massage establishments in general. Before we get started, I made a few disclaimers on the other two videos like this one that I had, and that is that I'm not encouraging anyone to go into the field of massage who has not been called into the field of massage. This series of videos are for beginner massage therapists who, or maybe you're just prospective. Like maybe you're just looking to see if this is something, like how to do the thing that you're supposed to be doing. I don't want to say if this is something that you should do, because like I said, it's like any other industry. You wouldn't go off to be a doctor or a nurse or anything like that if it wasn't something that you had a calling to do. So in the same way, I understand that there is still people who are called to it who don't really have the necessary tools to get things started, and I'm here to help you with that. I don't do no foolishness here on this channel. If you can see that, you know, I'm about my Father's business, okay? So we're not here to do any foolishness. I'm not here to show you me. I'm really not even here to tell you all my business, but I am here to help you out a bit. So without further ado, let's get started with today's video. I definitely would ask these questions up front so that you know what kind of place you're going to work for. Now, I also want to say that as we go through some of these things, don't be so rigid. Allow, you know, the Lord to move on your behalf. These are just things that I want you to look out for, to be wise about, but don't be like, you know, oh, Tansy said I shouldn't take a job if they would let me leave after, you know, don't do that, okay? We're just generally speaking here. Like I said, I'm trying to help those of you out who are just kind of starting in the industry. So you know what to expect, and then you just know what you just shouldn't be accepting at all, okay? So the first thing is, what are the hours that you are required to work? I have worked at places that said you need to work like 9 to 5. And when I say 9 to 5, literally you're on their schedule from 9 to 5. And if you get no massages in there, you still get paid an hourly rate. But if you take all the massages, like if they have bookings for you and from 9 to 5, you have to take them all. You have to make up in your mind if that's something that you want to do. I honestly do believe, I am under the mindset, I'm under the mindset that there is a such thing as doing too many massages a day. So I don't necessarily like places that have you work like a set amount of time. I more or less think that it's okay to do like a set amount of massages. Like let's say you say I'll work from 9 to 5, but I only want to do 4 massages in that time, and I actually would like, you know, a 30-minute break in between each massage, or a 30-minute break after every 2 massages, or I can do 3 massages and I would like a 30-minute break before I do the last massage. Also places that let you, like let's say I don't want to do 2-hour massages. Some people don't want to do 2-hour massages, and I understand completely why. Just when you're in the interview, ask if the place will allow you to basically set up how you would like to do the services, okay? And then ask them as well, because like I said, you might be new and you're just starting out. Ask them, is it okay that I change my mind? Like, is it okay if I said I can do 6 massages, which is a mistake that I made when I first got out of school? I let the first place I worked for put me on a schedule for 6 massages, and baby, they gave me 6 massages, okay? I would not suggest that you start out doing that many massages. I'm just saying. Now, I did do a lot of massages for my practical as well. Like I did about 6 massages a day, but I wouldn't suggest it like for a long term. So ask them what are the hours that you're required to work. I've also seen places, I've never taken a job for them because that just simply doesn't work with my schedule, and that's working on call. Baby, I don't want to be on call for nobody. Okay, but if you can take on call, like if you live very close to the spa or something like that, maybe that'll work for you. But just ask those questions and know what their expectations are. The next thing, and that is, if you have an empty schedule, are you allowed to leave? Okay, sometimes, especially if you're a male therapist, you might find that you were sitting around a bit. Okay, and I'm going to be a bit more specific. Some people might be offended by this, but if you're offended, that's kind of your business. Especially if you are a gay massage therapist, I find that they are sitting around a lot more. A gay male massage therapist, I find that they are sitting around a lot more. But anyways, if you are sitting around, are you allowed to leave? If you have an appointment your first appointment at 9 o'clock and you don't have your next appointment until 5, are you allowed to leave in between that time? And then what is their policy of calling you back? Like when you leave, somebody gets on your schedule, they say, hey, you got somebody on your schedule. What do they, how is it? ask these questions, see how, well the front desk communicates with the therapist, all these things. It is going to make or break your experience, honestly, at the establishment. So let's move to the next thing. Is one of the things that I mentioned at the beginning, and that is, what's the payment structure? Do you get paid for this downtime? Are you working there a set amount of hours, and every hour you're there, you're getting paid? I find that places that have this pay structure, they usually pay a little less, like maybe you're getting paid like $16 an hour or something like that, as opposed to places that pay by the massage, they tend to pay a bit more. Ask about this thing. Okay, you want to know what's the policy, you want to know what's the payment structure. Ask how much you're getting paid for extra services like hot stones and cupping and all that stuff. Ask about these things, and even go so far as to why they're saying it. You go ahead and write it down. Okay, and this thing is coming to mind as well. Sometimes they'll have you to sign non-compete disclosures. Actually read that and ask questions about that as you're signing, and even write notes as they're explaining to you what it is that you're signing. Because I have seen some places, they'll have you sign a non-compete disclosure, and then you're also working in the area. Maybe you're running your own business or something like that, which I'll talk about a little later. But you need to know what you're signing. Don't just go in there desperate and just sign away stuff, because you can actually be sued. Okay, so check on the payment schedule and then know what it is that you're signing. Okay. The next thing, like I said, is the payment structure. How often do you get paid? When someone leaves you a credit card tip, when do you get that money? If someone leaves you a credit card tip, do they take it from your hourly rate? I have worked at a place where, let's say they promised me that I'll be getting paid $20 an hour, and then a guest leaves a tip for $20. Instead of them paying me $20 and then the guest leaves a tip for $20, so a total of $40 for the hour, they would only give me the $20 that the guest left. Ask about this. I would totally frown against this practice because it's actually the company shaving extra money off top, but ask about this. There's another thing that I don't have on my list that I would like you to be aware of as well. As some of the franchises have come up with a system like a tier structure. The tier structure, I have seen a lot of clients upset about this because it's more money for the company and not more money for the therapist. If the client wants to leave more money for the therapist, they simply do it in a tip, okay? But they're being charged more money by the company, and then the therapist is not receiving the extra of that. I've seen that a lot of companies actually ask you if you want to opt into this service, but this is also something to be aware of, okay? The next thing, like I said, is the tipping policy. If someone leaves you a credit card tip, do you get that at the end of the day? If someone leaves you a cash tip, how do you go about getting your money? Okay. How do you go about getting your money? What's the policy on tipping? It's important to know. All right. So the next thing, and it's kind of in the same, loop of your tips, the payment structure, and that is to keep track of your services and all the payments that you're receiving yourself. It's nice to work at a place that has like a tally of this for you. Like after every time you do a massage, you know what your payout is going to be for the certain date. I love places that do that. I find that places that do that are more honest with the money that you're getting and stuff like that. When they don't show you, it's because they shaved a little something off the top. So I would definitely ask about the pay structure, how they pay out, what system they use to pay out, and all those kind of things. But I will also keep a record of my stuff myself. And this is another thing that I don't have on here, but I want to talk about because I'm talking about pay, and that is who's running this thing. Is there an HR department? I had to learn this the hard way, that I would frown against working for someone like this, like a big establishment like this that doesn't have an HR department, because they like to take your money, keep your money, steal your money, whatever. They like to do this, and then there's nothing that you can do about it. I had a pretty bad experience with this happening. By the grace of God, the Lord took care. Vengeance is the Lord's, okay? The Lord took care of that situation for me. But at the end of the day, if I really needed that money, they didn't want to give me my check. I mean, literally had to go up there and they literally didn't want to give me my check. So you need to, I find that's not the case when you're dealing with HR and stuff like that. Who is handling all this thing? Is the person who owns the business working at the front desk? This is something that I have not found to be a good thing. Now, I'm saying that as a business owner myself, if someone does a massage for me, mobile massage, chair massage, whatever, I'd like to believe that the person working for me believes that I'm an honest person, but you really need to use wisdom and discernment doing this, because the person, owner of the business has a vested interest in the business. Are they the ones collecting your payments, when the person comes through? Especially in this situation, I told you that they would take like let's say you're getting paid $20 an hour. If the person lets you a cash tip, they would not pay you the $20 an hour. They would use that $20 cash tip and say, oh, you made that. But the owner was working like actively in the business. Okay, so just look at those things. Don't let nobody be playing around with your money. Okay, do not let anybody be playing around with your money. The next thing I have for you, and we're running out of time here, is high end versus average. Now, I'm not telling you to stereotype, to put people in boxes or anything like that, but what kind of place do you want to work at? Do you want to work at somewhere that is more high end? Okay, what's your end goal in this thing? And I'm, like I said, don't be so rigid and don't put God in the box. But what is your goal? When you first started out this, what was the idea that God gave you as to what it was that you were supposed to be doing? Do you plan on doing more relaxing? Do you plan on doing more sports? Do you want to do something like oncology? Like, what do you plan to do? I would work in an environment that helps you to prepare for where it is that you are going. So if you like doing deep tissue sports style massages, I wouldn't suggest that you work at a place like a spa. I would suggest that you work at a place that you're able to get the hands-on experience that you desire ultimately. Chiropractic offices and things like that. I personally wouldn't work at a place like that because that's not the style that I like to do the massage. I like to do more spa services, body treatments, hydrotherapy, all that kind of stuff. I like to do those things. But you need to choose what it is that you want. Don't get a job at a gym, okay, and then say you want to learn how to do spa treatments. Don't do that. And this brings me to the next point, which is the place that you're working at. Allow that to train you. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Allow that to train you for where it is that you want to go. A lot of times I find that people, when they're just starting out, and I was like this too, which is why I'm speaking about it, you charge way too low. But the place that you're working at, so let's say you're working at a massage establishment and they're charging $120, $130 for the massage. And then you turn around and do your own massages for like $40, $50. But the massage that you are giving, even though you're not getting paid all that money, that's how much the person thinks your massage is worth, and they keep coming back. Yet you have a problem charging what you're worth. This is a problem. So I would highly suggest the place that you end up working at, look at their prices, see how much they charge. When you start taking your own clients, you know where to start. Don't you be out here giving no discount services. And I'm speaking of a person, I remember I was giving free massages. And if you need to get a bit more practice, I would highly suggest, yes, get free massage because you need to practice. There's a benefit to you. When you're actually charging, you've gotten all the practice, and we can always get better, but you know what you're doing. You know where you're going. Don't be sitting here shortchanging yourself, okay? Girl, I'll tell you from me. When I saw those prices, I said, get out of here. Get out of here, okay? The next thing is, I said high end versus average. Did we iron all that out? I think we ironed all that out. Just look at the, for the most part, the establishments, they're in places that they know that they'll get traffic. And I'm not talking about like, those little Asian massage spots that always are. And I'm not being rude. I'm telling you the truth. I'm not talking about those places that give those like $40 massages and they're always being rated on the news and stuff. Girl, don't you go stepping up in there. Don't you go stepping up in there, okay? You know what I'm saying? So a nice establishment somewhere that is established, and there are like some little Thai spots and stuff like that you can work at, that they're actually, a professional business, that they're not doing all that other stuff. Don't you get yourself caught up in there, okay? Because when they go raiding places, they don't be asking too many questions. They just go taking people in handcuffs. So you choose high end versus average versus sports versus choose the place that ultimately helps you where it is that you're going. The next thing I have is, can you choose which modalities you like to perform? I have seen places that say you got to do some of everything. We can't be good at everything, and we don't like everything, okay? When you're in school, that's your chance. Thank you, Lord. When you're in school, that's your chance to see what is it that you like, what don't you like. Even when you begin working, that's your chance. If you take a job at a place like a Massage Heights or Massage Envy or something like that, and you get some of all clients, you're able to see what do I like and what don't I like. And you can ask the front desk then at that point to adjust your schedule. Like, hey, send me the people that say they want to relax. Somebody said they got a shoulder issue with their shoulder rotating or something like that, and that's not something that you want to do. Let the front desk in on the fact that I like to do this type of massage, and that it helps your clientele better, helps your tips better, and ultimately helps you to have a better experience. So does this place say, hey, you got to do everything, or they let you choose? Do they pay for your CEs? Okay, are you able to get more practice because you're working at this place? We want this thing to be mutually beneficial. Okay, you're not just working here just because, for their benefit. You're working there for your benefit as well, your benefit of growth at the end. Deep tissue and stuff like that. If you put 4 deep tissue, I said I want to do 4 massages, and you decide you want to put 4 deep tissues on my schedule. Now what's going on here? Spread the deep tissue love around. Okay, does the place make you do deep tissue? Some people don't like to do deep tissue at all. Okay, maybe you weren't feeling up to it that day. Maybe you hurt your arm or something. Maybe you don't want to do deep tissue. You should be able to say, I don't want to do deep tissue. Okay, so we're running out of time here. Let's move on. This is the next thing that I have, and that is to be on time. Okay, I said we're running out of time because I have somewhere to be myself, and I like to be on time. Being on time is the most professional, the best thing, the way that you get the clients, the way that you keep the clients. Be on time, and on time in this business is early. I would say 30 minutes early. When you show up for your interview, show up for your interview early. Show up for your interview early, and show up for your interview ready. You see the outfit that I have on right here? It's black on black scrubs. Show up for your interview ready. I will show up for my interview with my massage belt, with massage oils or lotions or whatever it is, how you like to give your massage. I will show up to the interview just like that. Much like bringing a pen to it, like a regular interview, bring your stuff. That's your pen here, okay? Be prepared. If you had to do, if you're a little nervous and you wanted to do a free massage the night before so that you can ask about, so you can ask the person like, hey, how was my technique? Should I add this? Do that. Do your thing, okay? But come prepared and be on time. Be early. Early is on time in this business. And we'll talk about that a little more. And the next thing I have, the final thing I have, is to save time to grow your practice. I know that you might be in this and you're like, I ain't growing my own practice. It's too much money to start this and that. Like I said, don't put God in a box, okay? You can't put God in a box, but don't even try it. Leave some time to grow your business. At the end of the day, when the pandemic came around, people who had their private practices, their side clients, they were still able to perform massages. People who work for establishments, I know an establishment, they had to do a staff rehaul because all of their staff decided they wanted to walk out because during the pandemic they took them off from being W-2 workers and made them like self-employed, so they could not even file for unemployment. Don't put yourself in this situation. Be wise. Don't sit there and work and run yourself down for an establishment that at the end of the day their concern is to pay their bills, not yours. So, learn what you need to learn and then be building your practice. Slow and steady. So this is not a race for money. All those people who around here selling packages and BBL packages and flat tummy packages, all that stuff is a money grab. Don't get yourself twisted up into that, okay? Do not get yourself twisted up into that. This slow and steady wins this race, okay? So I hope this video was helpful. As always, if you have a question, ask a question, and I'll see you in the next one.